Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 33 of Podcast of Five Rings, your source of enlightenment in the realm of video games, tabletop, anime, film, and tech. Each episode of Podcast of Five Rings releases Monday mornings on iTunes and SoundCloud and topic by topic, day by day on YouTube, with the full video releasing on Friday. Catch updates about the podcast or for other news, give us a follow on your social media platform of choice, listed in the description below. I'm your host, GM, and overseer of Podcast of Five Rings, Obsidian, joined today, this morning, wherever you're listening, by the wall that will not fall, Tetsuo.
Hello.
The Dark Fortune Duelist Meta.
Sup?
In the resident wildcard Mal.
Yo.
Gentlemen, we are in the black age of gaming.
It is the worst of times. It was the worst of times.
You would think so, based off the stuff you're hearing, but hopefully it hasn't gotten you all down. Mal's about to go on an extended work vacation, and I hate him.
I don't have to work till the 27th.
10 days off. Killing me.
10 days to play all that Battlefront, right?
Oh, no.
I don't know what I'm going to play.
The world is your oyster, sir. Do with your time what you will. It belongs to you, and solely you now.
Woo! Getting all philosophical.
It's not that deep. Finally finished Chrono Cross, which I need to go back and finish.
Oh, yeah.
I got like 3/4 of the way through that game, and I was like, man, this game is awesome. Like
I
I do with most
further.
games. And then I just stopped. Which is what I did with the game series that I've been playing this for the past like month, Trolls of Cold Steel. In 1 month I put
Persona.
a combined 150 hours on both of those games.
I see. You've only had the game for 2 days, though, right?
Yes?
More like 2 years.
Yeah, I've had the first one about 2 years.
Holy shit.
And I played like 15 hours of it and was like, this is really fun. And like I said, I just get sidetracked and stop playing it. Like happens.
Yeah.
Got my Final Fantasy 15 downloading. That
I played
multiplayer.
a little bit last night.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
I told Mal I'm gonna make the edgiest of all characters.
I'm going to have to download it.
It's I mean, the character creation's pretty in depth. As far as like how it looks, I don't know what you're gonna need some accents for the edginess. I saw someone wearing a suit, so that's what I'm going for.
Gotta keep it classy.
What exactly are we facing in that?
Monsters.
Oh, okay. That's par for the course, I guess.
Do you know when it? Have you looked into it at all? Do you know when it takes place?
Honestly, no. I'll be going in blind, so.
Me too.
It takes
that's what I'm
place
saying.
after chapter 13.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Interesting.
Yeah, so you're just trying to survive, basically,
Neat.
or help people survive. Yeah, so it's
Interesting.
fun.
It's something we talked about potentially doing when we start doing our Let's Play stuff. So that might be happening pretty soon. Yeah, our attempt to play
coming up, so let me know when you want to play.
No, I don't know.
Oh,
Mal
you.
sounds pretty busy.
I mean, we all will in a week. So we're obviously, this will be our last episode before Thanksgiving because we're not recording on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So
Alright.
you'll hear back from us in 2 weeks. Also, the new L5R pack came out today, which we're not going to talk about. Aw. Just play the political duel and Kakita Blade. There you go.
There you
That's
go.
what you need
Those
to
are
do.
the two cards that you care about.
Put in your Ujiakis and
They literally showed the best cards in the preview.
get your Scorpion Shinobis and have you a grand old time.
Get crabby walls.
Yeah, get your
Put some guys on it. Tell nobody to move.
Get your crab magistrates, ring your little bells. Get at it. And put your unicorn cards in the box where they belong and never bring them out.
Might as well burn them at this point.
I don't think the unicorn are gonna make it, Doctor.
Oh my god. Interesting story in the thing because we got to see Yoritomo for the first time earlier than I thought we would, and he kidnapped Taka.
Yeah.
He
just kidnapped him.
blackjacked. Someone blackjacked him and he dragged him out of the.
No, they didn't
Where were the
blackjack him.
Sapoon? Where were the
They put a
Hida?
sack over head. He did. The weird part was like nobody even knocked him out. They just put a sack over his head and then carried him off. He didn't even shout or nothing.
Oh, this is my
I just
fate now.
assumed he was just.
I live here now.
Yes, that's how it's going.
Oh my gosh.
I actually kind of hope that the follow-up story to that, if they even do one, I hope the follow-up story is like when they open him up, he's just kind of sitting there and he's like, there's like tea set up and everything. He just like, he's like unsacked. He just like looks around and just grabs a tea and starts serving. So where were we? Like he's just so casual about like being captured.
Or he grabs the teacup and then pulls a Riddick.
Says something about Oxydome.
Kills them all.
I would be surprised for either.
Oh my gosh. All right, well, why don't we get into our nebulous black hole already? This first one's going to be a real doozy.
I'm ready.
All right.
I put up I set the garrison in place. I have all the men at ready. All
right.
the weapons are loaded.
Lead the charge, Meadow. What do we got?
Wait, what?
I thought it was Mao.
Oh, is it Mal? Okay, Mal. Sorry.
I think you've been informed.
You both look the same. Whatever.
Well, first up, we've got a little something from EA with what this has been good. Like Battlefront 2 has just been ongoing forever now. It feels like
as
far back as I can remember.
Yeah.
It's been people complaining about Battlefront 2 and its loot boxes. But it's been building even more now that it came out this week, I believe. Or
it just came out on the 14th, I think.
Yeah, and someone on Reddit made a post. Seriously, I paid $80 to have Vader locked, and the EA community team responds, with what is now the most downvoted comment on Reddit by a large order of magnitude. The intent is to provide players with a sense of pride and accomplishment for unlocking different heroes. As a cost, we selected initial values based on data from the open beta and other adjustments made to milestone rewards before launch. Among other things, we're looking at average player per credit earn rates on a daily basis, and we'll be making constant adjustments to ensure players have challenges that are compelling, rewarding, and of course, attainable via gameplay. We appreciate the candid feedback and the passion the community has put forth around the current topics here on Reddit, our forums, and other numerous social media outlets. Our team will continue to make changes and monitor community feedback and update everyone as soon and as often as we can.
What is the downvote at this point?
It was at a few K.
676,000 downvotes.
Oh, man.
The next lowest non-EA comment is at negative 20,000.
Wow.
People were not happy.
Yeah.
No.
This is just Buzzstorm probably. This might be like one of the worst, like, before a game comes out, like, oh no, like, possible shitstorm brewing.
I remember, like, the earliest one I can recall a while back, or two games, is Watch Dogs. That was after release, though, when the final product came out, people actually got with their hands on it. But the one that was before that had big issues was actually Evolve, if you guys remember that one.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
That had some big issues with all the different versions, all the crisscrossed information about what they were going to involve. That really
I don't think any of it got this bad.
No, that's why I was. That's just something to say.
Yeah.
It was not.
Made
this
it
bad.
to like a front page on CNN today.
Yep.
Article.
I believe there was an article. Was it the Wall Street one?
I don't know.
I know. I believe CNN.
I've seen it on Forbes and CNN today had it.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
CNN had an article that was stating. I don't know if it's the same one or not, but they did have an article stating that Wall Street was actually apparently worried about the state of EA based on this. Actually, I would almost argue, pretty big considering the gaming community. Pretty big backlash on BF2.
Yeah.
I wonder if the guys at EA, like, not the developers, but the people in charge of the company realize how actually bad this is.
There's no telling, because
seems
the
tone
people
deaf.
who made this game was DICE.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And EA's the publisher. And there's no telling where it all came down from. Someone did some math. It's like just from playing matches, it would take, originally it was 40 hours to unlock Vader or Luke or the character from the actual single-player campaign. The most expensive ones. Like, seriously, you couldn't even play as the character for that game without like a lot of time. But yeah, 40 hours of match time, and since then they've cut it by 75%, so 10 hours.
Which still feels like a lot.
I believe somebody pointed out that like if you played this game nonstop, not taking holidays off and whatnot either, it would still take about, what was it, like 6 months or so, like a 40-hour work.
I can't remember. To get everything in the game, it was like thousands of hours or $2,100.
Yep,
it is ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's pretty large.
Because if you're spending all your credits on trying to unlock heroes, you're not spending them on loot boxes.
Yep.
So it further splits that, giving people who spend money on loot boxes an edge up.
Yeah, because they get to unlock the things that they want to unlock.
Yep, they did an AMA on Reddit. 3 of the developers. That just felt like just corporate speech everywhere.
Yeah, I actually went through and I read majority of them. I would say anywhere from 60 to 70% of all the responses, and generally you could see. I almost wanted to actually go through because this is how much times it popped up. At least not paying attention fully to it, but the lines popping up. We are making adjustments.
Yeah,
that actually came up so much. I actually wanted to go back through and just count how many times that was utilized in a response.
They were also like. Weren't they like avoiding a lot of the more hard-hitting pressing questions on there too?
I don't know. They seemed to they answered them. The answers just didn't seem to mean anything.
Yeah. I'm gonna back on that one. They answered like a lot of the questions, even the more pointed ones, but generally the answers were just lackluster.
Yeah, like someone asked about because they've capped credits at 500 credits a day for playing in arcade mode offline, basically.
Yep.
Though apparently you earn 0 if you don't have an internet connection.
Wow.
Yeah, someone posted that. But so 500 a day for capping that, or at that, for playing offline, basically, and that means you have to play for 6 or 8 days to get one loot box.
Holy shit.
And someone's like, "Why?
What?
Why?" And I'm looking for the exact answer.
I think one of the best lines I saw was when somebody says like, "Why would I want to grind
all right,
a work week my
right.
game?"
So
one box.
their answer to why there was such a cap, like this tiny cap on arcade mode, they're like, as we want to let players earn credits offline via a more relaxed game mode, we need to find a way to make sure it wouldn't be exploited in a way that would impact multiplayer. Because we made that decision to limit the number of credits earned to stop potential abuse. We'll be looking at data and blah, blah, blah. But what that doesn't talk about is you can buy as many loot boxes as you want if you spend real money. So they don't really... They're like, we're okay with you breaking multiplayer if you actually give us money.
Yeah.
What abuse is if I put the same amount of time in multiplayer or single player? How is that abuse?
I don't know.
Potentially, you could farm it against AI easier than playing against actual competitors.
But like
Who
the problem.
cares?
But like, I was gonna say, who cares?
But they've already revealed their hand that they don't care if it's actually. They just care about the money.
Yeah. I mean, what it really comes down to is that a lot of the stuff shouldn't be locked behind loot boxes, which loot boxes have progressively become more and more of an issue with just, I think, people in general.
Yeah, we talked about this before.
Not to not to rehash something old, but that's
well,
just
we kind of have to.
Going. I mean, it's part of the problem. At least it's a very big part.
No one would have reported on this at all if it was just cosmetic items, and you could have done that in Star Wars. You have you know how many things you could have for like costumes for Star Wars?
Absolutely.
You still would have made plenty of money.
Yep. And yeah,
now who knows?
Now their like whole multiplayer thing leaves a bad taste, and at least the vocal, like, it feels like a majority, but it's hard to say because people are still going to buy the crap out of the game. It's a freaking Star Wars game, so it's going to make money.
They're the only ones that can make a Star Wars game.
But that's actually what makes this kind of interesting. Is like, even though like obviously the vocal is always generally the minority, the fact that it's hit in so many areas that there's so much vocality about it for a minority is what's fascinating.
Yeah, it just makes me sad because they're putting out crap like this. I mean, it's obviously going to make money, so I mean, I understand why they're doing it. But they put out crap like this and they close down Visceral.
Yeah.
He's giving us an actual,
I mean,
like, unique, cool Star Wars game.
I'm thinking maybe they must have seen actual monetary hit back from all this.
Yeah.
Because
I'm thinking so.
they like the day after the whole Reddit comment thing, they ended up removing the button for refunds from their website, so you had to call in or talk to someone in chat, and it was like a 60-minute wait time.
Oh my
So
gosh.
yeah, they're like, we're just gonna bet that you're not gonna want to spend this long to get your money back.
Somebody's going to get a third worst company of the year award. I have a feeling.
I was gonna say, yeah, this
Eventually.
is really leading into third time. I mean,
Holy
they did
moly.
it 2 years in a row.
It's like
so.
they just keep making bad decisions.
Yeah.
I think like the only problem, to be fair to Battlefront though, I mean, is that like this isn't the first time we've seen loot boxes unlock content before. If you look at games like I talked about this earlier in our Discord, but the Plants vs Zombies, the shooter one, it utilizes a card pack system, which is effectively just like a loot crate. And you would play matches, you would get credits, and then you would use those credits to buy a type of a pack. And the pack might be focused towards plants, focused towards zombies, it might be focused toward like a balance, it might be more set to like special units or the like. And then if you bought like higher tiers of packs, they would generally have like a higher chance or guaranteed of rares and the like in them.
Yeah.
And they would, once you collected enough pieces, which by the way is how this worked, is that you got a piece of like a unit. Once you collected all the pieces, then the unit unlocked for you.
Oh, that's illegal in Japan.
Yeah.
That's
So-
like the biggest thing that's illegal for like that sort of system in Japan. Like the one main law they have is you can't have a random like loot system that where you collect to get a final thing.
I did not know that, but yeah, that's how it works.
That's why none of the gachapon or anything have it.
They whatchamacallit, I don't think it was a lot of pieces, and I don't think you could get repeats.
Yeah.
You would always get new cards.
I learned about that because now Twitch has loot boxes.
Oh my
Do
god.
they
it
really?
does.
Yeah, you spend 500 in bits and you get a loot box, and then you collect certain special temporary emotes, and you collect enough things or something, you unlock
Get
them
your emo
permanently.
privilege.
This is we again with this thing we also kind of just discussed slightly, but this is really pushing into that whole gambling discussion that's been pushing onto it.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, because of all this, like some European countries are looking into if they should classify this as gambling. Danish police even warned their citizens of loot boxes today.
Yep, they did.
For like, talk to your kids about loot boxes.
Yeah, I saw there's like a Twitter hashtag movement going on, hashtag gambling. People were going around printing off flyers and handing them to like parents at game stores saying, "Don't buy your kid this. It has gambling in it."
Yeah, it's this is pretty insane.
Yeah.
But I think it's sad that it has to be a game that ultimately, when you play the game, it's incredibly fun. From what I've seen, I've never had a chance to play the game, which is really sad.
People say the gameplay is good.
Apparently, the Starfighter thing was really good. Made by a different company too, not Dice.
They even stated
said it felt like
it's
Rogue Squadron.
Squadron, yeah.
Which is one of my favorite Star Wars games.
It's one of the best Star Wars games for fighting. So the fact that that's a thing in this game, I just
can't in good conscience give them money for this game.
That's the same problem. Like I just can't. I do not want to support this kind of ideology.
Yeah.
And the
you could maybe rent it or buy it used, but then you're feeding a company that feeds that company.
Makes me hope so bad that this stuff doesn't pop up with Anthem when Anthem comes out.
Yeah,
I have no idea what to think.
Yeah,
because BioWare or Mass Effect 3 had card packs. Oof. In their multiplayer. I don't think it was anything like this.
No.
I don't know. I am kind of hoping though that, like, as bittersweet as it might be, is that at the end of all this, from this huge outlet of enough people to give EA the most downvoted comment on Reddit, nearing almost 1 million. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Is that companies will potentially look at this and see it as
One can hope.
yeah, that's really what
Yeah.
it is. That's what I'm saying. It's like I was kind of hoping for bittersweet here, but is that they'll look at this example and this game and be like, this is definitely not something we should probably continue down the road of.
Well, the AAA, non-AAA people definitely can't
Definitely.
afford
Yeah,
to
they
do
can't
it.
afford that. No, they cannot. But even AAA, I mean, Star Wars. It's kind of funny too, because like Star Wars, as you said it before, like Star Wars is huge. People are going to buy it. They're definitely going to make money off.
Game's going to make money.
The game's going to make money. But the fact that it's such a big named game with a very strong developer behind it, that has this problem, has such a harsh backlash on it, is probably one of the best things that could have come about, because it's high profile enough
Yep.
and it's seen by enough people that it might actually just make a strong enough wave to say something.
I mean, I'm sure there's going to be people that are going to like advertise the fact that their game doesn't have these things now as like a selling point.
I mean, when that's what Sony did in when we were coming out with Xbox One and the PS4.
Right.
Xbox
And,
One showed like all this stuff, and then PS1 came out. What is the first thing we do? We're not having this. We're not having this. We're not having
Or
this.
not this. Monster Hunters
Whichever-
already came out and said they're not having loot boxes too. Just
Yeah, I so
because
much
of the
praise for them
negative
for that.
PR.
Well, Japan doesn't tend to go for all these like loot boxes, microtransaction stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was
Some
just
of
so
the
weird
AAA
for them
games.
to like go, oh yeah, by the way, we're not doing any of this. So
Well, that was someone asking them, and then it just gets reported. But
Oh,
I
okay,
think
okay.
people are going to start actively like saying it as a selling point.
Well, I think
Yeah.
there was somebody who I want to say it was StarCraft today who put out a tweet that was like,
yeah, that was like yesterday.
yeah,
God, that was so good.
I didn't
it
see
was
that.
something. It was something along the lines of don't have to pay extra to unlock characters, and it pretty much like deconstructing everything because of
Yeah.
StarCraft.
Man, the good old days of when
Well,
all the
it was
characters were in the game.
it was to coincide with them being StarCraft 2 went free to play.
That's
Oh, wow.
right.
So they had a string of tweets. It's like number of hours it takes to earn the full StarCraft 2 Wings of Liberty campaign. 0.
Yeah.
Number of hours you can play, or number of hours before you can play any co-op commander in StarCraft 2. 0. Number of
God.
pay-to-win mechanics in StarCraft 2. 0. Free to play live
All
now.
skill.
Yeah, they did like 3 tweets. It was pretty great.
We didn't even touch
God.
on the Kotaku article yet, did we?
No, that was
Oh.
so weird.
That was
But
really
it's-
weird.
It's like just something that got caught up, or
Yeah.
because of it.
Beginning of the
Because
month.
everything-
It was the beginning of the week, right when the
4 days
alleged
ago was the comment.
yeah the
When-
alleged
yeah.
EA employee on Twitter said that he'd received like over 1,000 death threats or something like that.
Yeah,
1,600 death threats.
So Jason Schreier at Kotaku, the best investigative games journalist on the market, started looking into this and found out that the guy's story is really sketchy, has lots of holes in it. When he started to grill him about it through DMs on Twitter, the guy stopped responding to his DMs.
Just dropped it.
So it's pretty safe to assume that that's probably not an EA employee.
Yeah.
yeah.
He'd been like saying it for years, and then like said he was a developer, and then he was
Like
like
he's
a
a
quality
QA.
tester. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Real weird. Now he hasn't tweeted out since.
Yeah, and he
you know.
removed EA developer from his Twitter description on his
Yep.
profile. So
Hey, yeah,
Now
so
his
glad.
tweet. Now his account is private.
there you go. So probably people tweeting at him trying to get comment now because that's how game journalism works. Everyone
Yep.
piggybacks off something.
Yeah. It doesn't say anything about games on his little blurb now.
Oh my gosh. So yeah.
Yeah.
So this is just like the crazy kind of like the zeitgeist of this whole where we're at now with loot boxes and the EA hate, and it's man, I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
like dominated news,
Yeah.
video game news for the week.
It's the big story. Who cares that Marvel Heroes isn't? They're closing down their servers. Yeah, whatever. We got EA stuff to
no one
talk
cares
about.
about that.
I never played that game. I actually heard it was kind of fun.
I never saw.
It's
it
just
or played
Diablo
it,
with
so.
Marvel's characters,
Yeah.
basically.
Well,
The picture I saw in the announcement was of Moon Knight.
yeah.
who we talked about on our last
Ironic, we just
episode.
talked about that. Yeah.
Go Moon Knight. So yeah, if I was you, I wouldn't buy Star Wars Battlefront 2. But hey, it's your money. Do what you want with it.
Yeah.
I'm going to vote with my wallet and say this kind of stuff is not acceptable.
Yeah, I mean, you know, our general
can
opinion
really
on loot
do.
boxes.
Yep. That's what I told Meta, who's like, I really want to play the game. I was like, just buy it used from GameStop.
That's pretty much what I'm gonna have to do. I'm just gonna have to wait till the game's used and rebuy it. So at least it's not going to
Back
at
to
least
EA.
the money's not going to EA itself. Yeah.
So yep,
Damn shame.
yep. Hopefully things will get better.
Hopefully this will cause for some good changes in the future.
Probably not.
Probably not, but
Life is suffering.
Hey, this is the bad part of the games year. We've had lots of good stuff this year, and we still got some more.
The whole
some more to
start
come.
of the year was pretty nuts.
Yeah, there was an insane 2-month run there for a little bit. Then
was,
it's picked back up again here lately.
scary time.
So
most of the game of the year things are from the start of the year.
Yeah.
let's do that real quick. What's going to win Game of the Year, guys? So we got PUBG, we've got Super Mario Odyssey, Breath of the Wild. I said we're going to do it. We're going to be those guys. We got Horizon, and we got
every one of them's gonna win. I vote for all of them.
all of them.
PUBG has been in a little bit in the news, or I mean, people should this qualify as a game?
Yeah, because it's
for
not
Game
even
of the Year?
actual release.
Even the
yet.
developers we probably shouldn't be up for this.
I don't think it's going to win anyways. Horizon's probably going to win. It or Zelda.
It's not gonna win.
You think?
Horizon or Zelda.
Horizon
One of
or
the two.
Zelda?
Yeah, I was gonna say Zelda.
Yeah.
I think more so.
I want Persona.
Yeah, I would vote for Persona
That's
personally.
my game of the year, but
Yeah, that's my
what'll
game of
probably
forever.
win-
So
Yeah, I'd go with Zelda as a pretty safe bet.
yeah, it'll be one of those two. But anyways,
We could do our own host.
I think Divinity 2 would have been in the running if
we
they
need
had
to
the money
do a
for
live
advertisement.
stream where we watch it and talk over it or something. That might be
think
something we can do.
we could definitely do something like that, but we could also give our own generic rewards, like the ones that the game that least bored me for the first 10 hours. Just
God, I
stuff
don't
like
even
that.
know.
The game that I would spend most of my time on if I had to be on an island with it.
Hopefully a handheld game.
The game I can't believe I actually played through and finished. And
Scrap.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A game
why
that
did I finish
surprised
this
me.
game?
Yeah,
No. Anyways, let's get on to Meta's topic. What do you got for us? This is actually your topic.
this is my actual topic now. I'm going to talk about Stranger Things.
Stranger
because,
Things.
Damn it, it's time.
We've all seen some
So-
of it now, at least.
I was
So
gonna say.
It's about time.
we have Lily and I finished both seasons.
You guys marathoned it pretty
Um,
hard, didn't you?
Yeah, we did. We finished season 1, and I literally how it worked was we started season 1 in the beginning of the week, either Monday or Tuesday, and then we commenced to do this. I would wake up, go to work, come home. We'd immediately sit down and watch Stranger Things until either of us had actual obligations to go to that involved other people, and then if we had some time left over in the end of the night, we'd go back to watching Stranger Things. I'd go back to sleep, go to work, come home, repeat. And so we got through the first week of that, and then on the weekend, we essentially just crushed out season 2 really quickly.
Yep, and Tetsuo and his wife have been marathoning it this as well.
Yeah, we literally sat down. I think it was Saturday. We sat down at 9 a.m. and started it because I was building Gunpla in the living room and needed to put something on the TV. And I didn't get very far into it because the show was great.
I'm an old boy. I watched it right when it came out.
So what is this Stranger Things?
Well, it's strange.
Fuck off, Maui.
It's a thing. It's stranger than another thing.
God. So, Stranger Things, for those of you who have not seen it, first off, I would say right now, just put this on pause, go binge it, and then come back. Okay? That's the best thing I could say. But for those of you who are more interested in something and need actual information to make valid decisions with your life, which I don't know why, just please believe me. Stranger Things is essentially set in the 1980s and involves pretty much just that generic style, that style of horror and whatnot. And it's not, I wouldn't say it's full on horror, but the
It's
gist
like
is
Spielberg, even.
Yeah, Spielberg.
The same way that the Close Encounters of the Third Kind was horror-y.
Yeah. But it definitely has the touch-ups of modern cinematography and the like and storytelling, but done in a very 80s style, which gives this wonderful sense of nostalgia for those older school type of horror things, while giving you the kind of quality that, you know, our day and age can provide. But it's essentially about this town that is unfortunately going to soon become or is currently the hub to a lot of very strange things that are going on, involving government, involving monsters, involving even another world. And you have a lot of different characters, all actually across different age groups, who are involved in some shape or form with all these things that inevitably lead to one singular strand where they all meet up and deal with the problems in order to effectively beat the bad guy and live on to see the next sunrise. It's absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
I've never had in a long time. I've never been so entranced by a series, and it's magical in a way. It's almost like being a child and watching Lion King or something.
Yeah, and it's
That's probably on point.
yeah, it's another like kind of example of like quote unquote nerdy things kind of like sifting into the mainstream. The kids like the game starts out or the show starts out with them playing D&D basically. It's got lots of references to Dungeons and Dragons.
It has lots of references in general to a lot of nerddoms.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, I mean, not to get too spoilery, but here I go. I mean, just the creature, even the way that they expose the creature and slowly like reveal it and whatnot. That first episode, literally, I paid for all of my seat, but I was only using the edge of it. Okay, I was like so on edge when I was looking at this when this creature shows up, and they do a wonderful job of starting off by just not showing you what it is. You don't see it at all. I mean, that opening moments where the dude is running, trying to get to the elevator, and he's just looking back, and all you're seeing is flashing lights. It is so intense, but in every right way. And then the characters themselves are just lovable. Hopper is fantastic. I love the fact that he does exactly what I have to praise this specifically, because this is like the one problem I always have with horror stuff is that generally the characters are idiots. Hopper's not. Hopper is the exact opposite. He's intelligent. He's smart. He picks up on
what
things.
What is going on constantly?
Yeah. What is going on?
He just wants to get to the bottom of things.
He doesn't hesitate to go do what needs to do. Like,
exactly.
There is no pausing in his footsteps. He is, all right, we're going to do it. Yep. Despite his character build-up, because the way that they build him up, you're curious if he's going to be.
It's funny, too, because like they start off his character literally starts off like waking up, and he's very clearly, he's kind of tidy in his house, but he very clearly drinks, he takes medication, he smokes, he's not all that interested in taking care of himself all that greatly. He presents himself... Yeah, at least in the beginning of the episodes when they first introduce him, they present him as this kind of almost a slobbish type of character, but he immediately takes a 180 when he starts to like click in and realize that things are going on, and he investigates them. He's intelligent. He approaches the problem. He sees it with at least as much understanding as he can provide for his character. It's wonderful because he's doing everything right, and shit is still going wrong.
He's like the character Meta would play if he was going to play Call of Cthulhu, basically.
Yes, that is exactly the kind of character. Like, shit's not right. Give me a gun. And I'm like, this man knows exactly how to solve a problem. That may not make sense.
Yeah, the show has that very, like, it reminds me a lot of Call of Cthulhu, that kind of, like, it's like, this feels like PCs working through a Call of Cthulhu adventure.
And that's actually something to make note, is that they stated that there's very Lovecraftian elements in it.
Yeah, exactly.
If I don't know if you saw any of it or not, but there's the Beyond Stranger Things.
No, I haven't watched any.
It's essentially just them, the writers and some of the actors, going and they're talking about the episodes and some of the themes. And generally, it's very casual, but you do get some insight in the background of things. And one of the things they say is that they did utilize very Lovecraftian themes in all of it.
Uh-huh.
I mean, the Upside Down world is absolutely is interesting in its own right for not only what it could involve and what it is, but what could thrive there, what is there, and obviously as you see like what the creature is and how it got to our realm and so on and so forth,
It makes me think of the dreamscape from Lovecraft.
Yeah, there's the shadow. I mean D&D, the shadow realm, the nether realm or whatever they call it.
Very much that.
Yu-Gi-Oh now, boy.
I know, but Yu-Gi-Oh now.
It's Shadow Plane.
Banished to the shadow.
The shadow
Right.
plane is very clearly a huge inspiration for it, and they even obviously make direct reference to it in.
Yeah,
the
they call
show.
it the Veil of Shadows, which
Yep.
I don't think is a thing.
I don't know if it's actually a thing or not, but I mean, it's a cool name.
I thought the Veil of Shadows was specifically they were talking like a module, because I think he calls it like the ethereal plane or something like that.
Well, they describe the way the planes work as this is the ethereal plane. This is the like the ethereal plane can interact with the material plane in very specific instances, but generally you can't unless you cross
they said
over
it's
into it.
it's next to it, a twisted version of the material plane, which is literally the shadow plane in D&D.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it
But
is.
I thought that he said like the Veil of Shadows, the way he said it was like a module, because
I don't know.
Because they mentioned a few different modules, and I want to say like a couple of them actually do physically exist for first edition D&D.
I mean, they definitely
No,
probably gone through changes.
I'm pretty sure they're fake. It's what I've seen online.
Oh, really? Well, in
whatever.
either case, the inspiration is clearly there.
Yeah, because
And
in
it's really fun.
the Veil of Shadows is just a tomb located on east of Kurandal, Spine of the World, blah blah blah. In D&D.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, the kid actors in this are like super good. Some of the best
Oh,
kid
yeah.
acting I've ever
Yeah.
seen.
Oh
in
yeah,
anything.
I've ever seen. I actually enjoyed following them and seeing where their escapades left them, and like how, because even they approach the problems realistically but directly, which was just very nice. So it was even fun to watch them approach a problem that's not the same as the one Hopper might be approaching, but all together still interesting.
Yeah, one of my favorite things, someone commented on the show one time, I can't remember who said it, but they were like, some of the best things about the kids is they're very much 80s movies kids too, because they just, like swear a lot, they like rip on each other, like the way they talk is very much like 80s movies kids.
It's fantastic. The the one thing I will state between the seasons, and I don't know if you guys will agree with me or not, Tets and Obs. I know Mao's only seen season 1. Literally it's just Alien and then Aliens.
I've never seen Alien and Aliens.
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
Okay, well, I guess the metaphor won't work.
Yeah,
But that's what I feel
actually,
like what it is.
Yeah,
I feel like there is definitely. I will state that there is definitely a slight tonal shift from the first season to the second season, in the same way there was a heavy tonal shift in Alien and Aliens.
When I first cut on the second season of Stranger Things, it opens up with that bank robbery, and I was like, am I watching The Dark Knight Rises? That's exactly what I thought. It's got like masked guys running out of a bank, like to a van. I was like, okay, is this Stranger Things?
I know, right?
I will say too, and like specifically, I guess going with the point that you're talking about Aliens versus Alien, is in season 2 compared to the trying to think how to say it without being too spoilery, so I guess spoilers for season 2. The Return of the Demogorgon.
Yeah.
Suddenly, like before, it was this big uber like horrible thing, and then now they're more but less.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
It's kind of weird, but I mean, to be fair, they did modify it. It's not actually the Demogorgon that comes back. At least
Right.
we classify it. It is different. It is a different creature, but it very clearly draws. It's either an unevolved form.
Yeah.
We're Pokemon now. It's an unevolved form of it. Or,
Stage 1 evolution.
Yeah, it's stage of one evolution.
Because it's on all fours and stuff. It's not like very.
Yeah.
It looks more like a dog than a human.
But it started off like the Polytoad type deal, so I think it's just like it's growing. It's the intermediary stages of a Demogorgon.
I mean, they do state that like what I think even the characters state at one point, although it's not really focused on because you never really see like even the threat of it happening, they do say like when it's finally in that dog state, it's like what happens if it sheds again? Does it just become a full-fledged Demogorgon? Does it finally get its like badge and like it's done its civil service for 2 years?
Man,
I don't know.
The kid who played Will in the second season freaking knocked it out of the park.
Oh
Some of
yeah,
those
Oh, yeah.
scenes. He's like the best kid in the second season.
yeah.
Where
There's
he's not very much in it in the first season.
which kind of sucks. But I gotta say, of the 2 seasons, oh, and I should explain this for you, Ted. If you haven't seen Alien or Aliens, in Alien, it was very sci-fi horror. Horror was the major focus. Survival horror, if you really want to classify it with the double setup. But that's really what it was. Aliens was
An action movie.
it was really action horror. Yeah, and arguably you could even say it's action horror instead of horror action. So
A lot of people
Gotcha.
think it's the best one. I like the first Alien though.
I think the first Alien is way better than the second
Yeah, I
one.
think so
but
too.
I
I'm
know,
not like a big fan of Aliens, honestly.
I know a lot of people
Heard
like the
Alien
second
was better than
Aliens
Aliens.
because the main character does get a happy ending. She does get a good ending in that one. So, but that's essentially what it is. Like that's kind of the same thing that happens here. Is that like the first one is very horror. You don't know what you're facing. You don't know what you're fighting. There's a lot of things that are at play that you still don't understand. So you're working without information, which means that you're always attempting to stay a step ahead, but you're not sure if the step you're taking is going to keep you safe or not. And in the second one, it's a little bit less of that because you kind of already know what it is you're dealing with now. But in the second one, it brings a new dynamic to how
Stakes are
things-
raised.
Yeah, the stakes are raised, but in a far different manner. You're not facing something new without information again. You're facing kind of the same thing, but in a very new manner of it. So
Yeah, it was good. I think I like the first season a little bit better, but
I would say I like the first season a lot better than the second one. But I will admit that I just like mystery more than I like action when it comes to my horror.
yeah, the second one's a bit slow to get going, in my
Oh
opinion.
god.
I don't know. Like, I don't know. I felt like the shadow monster was a little more mystery to it, though. At least for me.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that was fine.
I felt like there was more mystery in season 2 than there was in season 1.
God, that thing. I think the only thing that was the one part that really finally gave me the goosebumps that the first season did was when they finally kind of hinted at that big creature in the sky and whatnot for season 2, and it was just like, oh, here we go. Here's the thing we don't know. But like I said, I like the mystery, so my favorite part was because I didn't know anything about it. Therefore, how do I fight it?
Yeah.
My favorite part's Steve Harrington.
Steve
That Steve Harrington.
Harrington.
Best character in the show, in my opinion.
As Lily put it best to me, she's like, Steve 2 Harrington doesn't have time for season 1 Steve Harrington.
Exactly. Man, Steve in season 2 is he's the bomb diggity. I thought he even had a nice little arc in season 1.
Steve Harrington, I think, has a fantastic arc. He has, I think, some of the best stuff that happens to him.
Yeah, but all the characters are pretty good. You know, Steve's just a slight edge. I think you two are Hopper guys.
Yeah, I don't like Steve. I think he's a bit of a douchebag.
Boo! Boo this man! Boo him!
Like, even his character development is all about how he can be a little bit more self-serving to himself. Like, I don't know, it's just...
If I had to choose characters, Hopper is definitely my favorite. But I think Steve Harrington has had the best character arc and change.
He uses that Farrah Fawcett hairspray.
God.
So yeah, Stranger Things, it's great. Go watch it if you haven't watched it now.
If season 2 is slower, then I don't think there's any chance I'm going to watch season 2.
Oh yeah, it takes a little bit to get going, in my opinion.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I was not
that's
a
the
big
downside to it.
fan. I felt like the pacing was already abysmal. Like, you probably could have cut out half the episodes. Like, I don't think I really felt like I learned much after episode 2 or 3.
That sucks.
So,
like, then
Yeah, but you're also
just
less a horror fan too, though, right?
yeah,
it's
true.
just like
So
a
it's
mega
probably just not
pastiche.
your cup of tea.
Yeah, it's just everything they're drawing from is things I don't really care about, like Stephen King or E.T. the Goonies, things I've never seen or don't really care to watch. Just the pacing seemed awful. I think you could have cut out everything with the teenagers. Like, they do literally nothing of relevance in season 1.
But Barb now.
Season 2,
But
they
Barb.
become way more important. At
Yeah,
least for
Barb's
the
real pointless. Like,
Yeah.
Where
I
is she
heard
now?
about-
Where'd she go? Where's Barb?
Like, there's literally no point for them to be in season 1. I feel like they don't do anything.
I'll actually agree with you on it. I feel
Even their thing about what's in the even the thing they do in the last episode like has no effect on what happens after that.
Yeah, I actually have to agree with that. Which was really frustrating because I thought they were finally going to be able to kill the creature. But it wasn't them who did it. I was actually kind of upset with that. I was like,
I don't think they made any influence. They didn't seem to bother it at all.
I like their characters enough to where it didn't bother me.
I will disagree with that. The flames definitely did something to the creature. I did not like it.
Except it shows up and then kills more people than the rest of the show combined. Like,
yeah, but if
I'm not pretty
influential. They would never been able to find Will though, because they only found him through following the blood splatter from it being hurt by them.
Yeah. It definitely got hurt. I'm not saying it got hurt and was crippled by it, but it certainly was hurt.
And the monsters seemed pretty ineffectual for most. Like, it didn't really seem to do much on its own except kill a deer. Like, I mean, a teenager was able to fight it off with a bat. Pretty.
Hey, that was a spiked bat. Don't you take that?
That's Steve Harrington.
Don't take that tone with me. Don't you talk bad of him. I will agree. The creature, unfortunately, once they finally do get the reveal and it stops snatching up people in the background as it's wont to do, definitely loses a lot of the oomph to it. The fact that yes, a bat. I literally looked at Lily and I was like, why is it that the bat stops it, but like a fucking gunshot to its
nothing
didn't do anything?
Also,
like,
the whole blood thing felt really kind of stupid. Like, everyone just takes it as the fact, and it doesn't even make that much sense because you see blood, like, with 11, and he should have probably, shouldn't he have gone for Benny Hammer's corpse from the first episode? Like, they say it's attracted to blood, but you see blood other times during the season, and nothing happens. It's only relevant when the story tells you it's relevant.
That's true.
But how much is that not just storytelling in general? I mean,
it just felt like bad storytelling to me.
I mean, there is definitely inconsistencies. Everything's going to have them.
Yeah.
There's no doubt that yes, it probably should have showed up, but arguably when Benny got his blood on the floor, it was not alive. I guess.
So is like it could only go so far away from the
yeah, that's true
Institute,
too.
and we don't really know how far Benny's diner was from the Institute.
I mean, it's the first place 11 showed up, right?
Yeah, but we
don't
probably
really
really map.
know
There's actually no map of it. To be fair, like, there's no map. We have no idea how much she wanted about. She could have gone in like a very large arcing circle before hitting Benny's place.
Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, that
makes sense.
I mean, there's definitely some things that could be answered for sure. I agree with that.
Yeah. Plus, yeah, they didn't feel like they did much world building in the first season.
It's probably why the season 2 actually feels a little bit slower, is because they didn't build in the first one. They really wanted to get us right into it, which, I mean, to be fair, at least in comparison for them, because I know to you it's slow no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the people I've seen that didn't really care for it all pretty much say the pacing is too slow.
I could agree with that. But I'm not going to.
I agree. I don't like the show. To me is the characters and like the kind of like nostalgia stuff. So that's what I like about it.
I think it was the production value is good. Like the soundtrack's the best thing for me. Like
you like
I'll listen
stuff.
to the soundtrack, right? But I feel like it could have been cut into a very like a tighter 4 episode and just been better,
like a mini series.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that was one thing for me that I definitely didn't like, is that it was only 8 episodes long. Like, they could have extended it and put in more world building, or they could have cut it down and cut out a lot of the dragging. Like, it
also,
was...
I had to skip everything with Winona Ryder's character.
Yeah, people either like her or don't
it.
like her. She's better in the second season.
Apparently, they changed everything about that character just so they could have her as the actress.
Wait, which character?
Winona Ryder, the mom, Will's mom.
Oh.
She was a very different character before, and then when they got Winona, they're like, well, we
Just
better
go
like, having Winona was more important because, she's a big 80s star.
I had no clue, so I actually don't know her at all. So I thought she was fine for all intents and purposes, and I have no overexposure for her. This is the first time I've ever seen her.
I mean,
To
I
be
don't think I've
honest-
seen her in a whole lot. I just thought it was pretty good.
Mr.
I've only
Deeds.
really seen her in Beetlejuice, I think.
I
Well, I
was
mean,
just,
like, to be honest, my wife said that Winona Ryder's character really sold a lot of the characterization for her personally. Because she, again, kind of the whole Hopper does the things that you would expect the guy who should be in charge to do. She kind of does the things that you would expect a grieving, panicked mother to do. It's not just the movie grieving, panicked mother. She the
loses
ups
it.
and downs. And,
yeah, I actually kind of enjoyed the fact that she was able to, regardless of the reasons of how or whether it made any sense or not, was able to at least figure
just
out that
didn't-
shit was going on.
Yeah, I didn't mind that. I just didn't care for her acting in it.
Yeah, I didn't think her acting was like super good in the first season either, but I think she's better in the second season. Like I thought she's fine, but the second season has like a very jarring like shift for one episode, in my
Yeah.
opinion. I can't talk about it without
What is it?
spoiling anything.
is it the one that everybody talks about?
Yes,
Yeah, I've already heard of. There's one episode that just does not. Everyone's like, you can just cut it out.
the tone
entirely.
completely like changes.
I do not know this episode. Can you just give me the
Episode 7, I believe.
It's the
Really?
it's the one in Chicago
Oh,
where you get the cliffhanger and then it goes and does this and jumps right back.
A lot of people say,
Robots.
Robots. But yeah, it's a very jarring shift. When Tets gets back, he can start talking. But yeah, because it's like it ends. It's like, okay, you have this oh shit moment, and then it's just like, and we're not going to deal with that, and we're going to deal with this, and it feels like they're trying to like spin off into something else, possibly.
I mean, there's, I think a big problem with like generally though, like why they're shifting the way they are is like I think I'm kind of actually fearful for season 3.
They said season 3 is going to be more character driven.
I thought the show's character driven already.
Yeah, all right, I
I
was
don't
gonna
know
say
what
it's
to tell
already
you. That's
character-driven.
just what I've seen as a headline.
That
Yeah,
doesn't really tell me. That doesn't really tell me anything, though. I hate that fucking kind of terminology. Character driven. It's already driven by characters. That's how you're telling the damn
It's going to
story.
be more character driven, Meta.
it's not about the
Oh,
overarching
well,
plot.
my mistake.
You back
No, I mean,
Tets?
like, what does character driven mean?
It's more like the plot is probably internal and like lots of dialogue and like exposition-y stuff. Probably.
I don't come to Stranger Things for people to philosophicalize at me. Okay, I come to them because I want to see somebody get murdered, a mystery break out, and fucking Scooby Doo and the gang try to.
Oh, you
solve
want to
it
talk
before they
about
die.
stupid like characters in horror? I just wish Nancy and Will's brother would have died, like when they went with the whole tree thing. Like they should have just died there. It would have been so sad. Like, huh? We're gonna hunt this monster at night. Oh,
They
weird
should have
thing going
died.
on with
They
this
should
tree?
have.
Let's
Yeah.
get in.
I specifically sat there and looked at Lily. I actually got angry about that part. I was like, "This is the stupidest thing." They went hunting for the creature. What does she fucking do?
Yeah.
She goes inside the tree. Really? And like,
right after seeing that deer disappear in the way that it does.
yeah, I'm like the first. Okay, barring the fact that the deer disappears as it does, you look at a tree and suddenly there's this weird goopy like substance. You can push your hand through it. You're not like there's alarm bells aren't going off for you. Fucking really? Lily was like, well, you know, she was investigating. I'm like, looked at like Lily, if you were in a forest with me and we were trying to find a creature and you found something like this, what is the first thing you do? And she looks at me, she just looks at me dead in the eye. She's like, I'd call free if I couldn't find you. I'm like, that's what I thought. Wouldn't be crawling in there by yourself. It
Get in that tree.
was so
Oh,
stupid.
man.
They should have both died right there.
Yeah. So, but yeah.
Game over.
But yeah, hopefully you've watched Stranger Things, because we talked about a lot of spoilers here. So.
I warned. I said I was like
Yeah.
going. I don't want to do spoilers, but here
Yeah.
I go.
If you haven't watched it though, and you're back with us or whatever, then probably go see it if you're into like nerdy 80s nostalgia stuff. If you don't really like horror, it's not your bag, kind of like Mal. Yeah, you probably won't like it as much. If you don't mind slow stuff, if you want action all the time, then it might not be for you too.
Yeah,
But
definitely
I
not
highly
for
recommend
action.
it.
I would recommend it too. It's got its flaws, like everything does, but
Yep. So, speaking of flaws, let's get into Tetsuo's topic.
What do you mean flaws?
Go on, sir.
flawed about Horizon Zero
GOT,
Dawn.
why?
The game of the year.
Everything is flawed about it. I don't understand how you wouldn't notice. The way it's so flawed in its graphic, the way it's so flawed in its gameplay.
Aloy's hair sways
everything.
in the wrong direction.
It's absolutely
No.
wrong.
It's the
Did
left,
you notice
not
that there
the
was
right.
some reflection on that cloth? The snow wasn't powdery enough. I really feel like it was very flawed in their snow.
They actually did like a little, documentary or whatever on it, and they're like for how they did the weather, and basically they only took the most perfect weather parts in their engine and got rid of the rest.
Yeah. But anyways,
Like for appearance wise and whatnot, just the most extremes for the appearance. They just wanted the 11s out of 10s.
You know what though? It made it look really nice.
Mm-hmm.
all right,
It
Ted,
is a
Tets,
gorgeous game.
tell us about some Horizon Zero Dawn here, or Last
those of us-
Horizon, as I
For
constantly
those of
refer
us
to it.
who don't know what it is,
Well, Horizon Zero Dawn is an open world game where you run around with a bow and arrow and shoot robotic dinosaurs. Talk about your 80s
And you ride 'em.
nostalgia.
I feel like that was
I totally
probably
forgot about that because I just don't do it in
You,
the game.
you set up traps and you ride them and stuff. you sneak around.
You ride your mechanical T-Rexes.
Yep. Yeah, it's fun.
Very heavily praised by critics, by the way.
Yeah, it is. It's good. It's up there.
I didn't
but-
see one negative review about it. Like, even like review that said the game was like meh. Like, I saw some of those for Zelda.
Yeah, like I don't know that it has anything really all that negative about it, but it's 9s and 10s that people seem to give it a lot.
Yeah.
And here's my reason. Story is sort of new, but at the same time, it is predictable enough. There's not really anything new or revolutionary about it. It's just kind of how they put the parts together that makes it feel fresh. It feels a lot more fresh, but I don't think it actually is. If that makes any sense. Like,
when I got the story reveal of like, so you're basically, I mean, you're the place you're from, Alloy, is like, prehistoric levels of technology, sort of. Except there's also robots running around, right? So it's what I liked it because I was like, this is like the first post-apocalyptic game I've seen. Everyone's doing a post-apocalyptic game. This is like the society that emerged long after the apocalypse.
And that's one of the things I'm really enjoying about the game is you're also exploring the moments that led up to their apocalypse. So you almost have two concurrent storylines going on. I still haven't finished it yet, so I'm gonna wait to see how they merge. But the story is very enjoyable. It's not scary in any way, shape, or form, but it's fun. It is a very fun story, I think.
I quite enjoy it. Or playing, I guess I don't know. I've been finding that I don't love playing most of, or I say, I don't know exactly how to word it correctly. These open world, Western games like this. I don't enjoy playing all of the game that it has to offer. Like, generally, my favorite aspect is like the combat and then learning of the story. Like, the only side stuff I want to do in this game is go into the cauldrons.
Right.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was too. I was like, I do not want to do these side quests, really.
What I'm finding, I'm getting there for all of these games.
Yeah.
Like this.
That might be me because I love the side quests in this.
That's your whole bang.
Yeah.
You learn more about the world and the story and the people through doing all these side quests and stuff.
Spider webbing stories where it's like you have all of these small isolated things, and then you start to realize, oh, I can see how this fits into here, and seeing like in this random manuscript them talking about this place. It's like, oh, I remember that. It's all the way on the other side of the map, and didn't think they were connected.
I think it's the most Tetsuo game I've ever played, probably.
It really is.
Just because, just off the stuff we've talked about, like the kind of games we like, and when we talked about E3, what we were looking forward to, I was like, Tets, you really need to play this game. This is like your game to a T.
When it came out, it released really close to my birthday, and as did For Honor, and I had to decide which of the two to get for my birthday. And I feel like I chose poorly because I chose For Honor.
Yeah.
Hey man, we had some fun. I have no regrets.
I did enjoy it. I really did like playing For Honor, but as you say, Horizon is very much a Tetsuo game.
Yeah. But like, I was just playing this, and like, I kind of came to realizing like why, like I got burnt. I never finished The Witcher, and it took me a long time to just finish Mass Effect Andromeda because they're all like. They have like I don't really care for they all use the same like special vision to figure out clues, and I'm like, I just tell me. I'm like, it just doesn't like that part of gameplay. I really don't care for anymore. Like it's just highlight this. Like you have to highlight it. Like just highlight it for me without just like going into my special vision and seeing it. Like it's just an extra step I don't care for.
Yeah, it feels erroneous.
Because my problem with that is a lot of times narratively there's like next to no sense as to why you have this site. Far Cry Primal is a good example of it. There's no reason why this guy suddenly has this site or whatever, can see through the bird's eyes and everything. But I felt like Horizon, at least on a story level, did a good job of
yeah. That's fine. It's just the gameplay aspect I don't care.
Oh yeah. No, I agree. I know where you're coming from on that.
You know, Witcher vision, scanners, whatever.
Yeah. My problem with the game was, I probably talked about this on the podcast before, so forgive me for speaking ad nauseum. I got the game. I was having fun with it for the first week I was playing it. I probably got like 15 hours in. I was kind of like, had the mouth thing where I was like, yeah, I don't want to do these side quests, but the story seems really interesting. I liked Aloy. I liked the combat and the sneaking around.
Ashley Birch.
Yeah, I didn't really like putting up the traps or anything, but I was like, yeah, I get to fight metal dinosaurs and stuff and build weapons. It's pretty cool. And then Zelda came out a week later. And in Zelda, you can literally go anywhere in the game. So when I beat Zelda, I tried to come back and finish Horizon Zero Dawn, and I was like, I can't climb on everything. I have to like find a path and do this stuff. I was like, this is unplayable for me now, and I'm going to pick it back up eventually. I just need to wait a long time because I think around the holiday, the next Zelda DLC is going to come out, and I'll be playing that again. So
the addiction is clear.
Coming from playing like the Assassin's Creed games and playing any Bethesda game, it's like you never know. Like if you just keep jumping against the same rock, you'll find that one tiny polygon that you can stand. So then you do it more to just go climb over rocks instead of walk around it. And that's non-existent, next to non-existent in Horizon. You can only climb on like designated ledges. That
shoot off on your zip lines you cut out there. So something might be going on with Discord again for you. But
I don't really want to fight that monster over there. I'm gonna climb. Nope. I guess I'm gonna go fight them.
Yep. So yeah, it's got the obvious like footholds, like zip line around and stuff like that. But man,
climb on yellow things.
Yeah, that's like because I've said before. I think we talked about like what one of our like least favorite genres of games was. That might have been one of our topics. I know we've like touched on something similar to this, but I actually said open world games were not really my cup of tea because I don't like exploring around doing all the side quests. But like Zelda really got me into like exploring the world and being able to like go, I want to climb up this random thing, and that's like half the game. And that's how you kind of like doing this weird random stuff and seeing if you can get on top of that mountain or fly across all the way over here or get to this cave is like how you kind of make Link stronger in the game.
Yeah.
And
that didn't appeal to me so much.
Yeah, but
I
that really
haven't beaten it.
Yeah, that really appealed to me when I was playing the game. So then coming back to this, I was like, oh my god, it doesn't have any of these elements. It feels like a worse open world game, but that's just me. And I'm not like I said, I'm not like big into the open world game genre. I think Horizon Zero Dawn is probably a lot more like it probably borrows more from the open world genre like tropes and stuff.
Yeah. I will say too, another thing that I really enjoyed beyond just having the ability to do all the traps is with your weapons, you have 3 different types of bow that then have different types of arrows. And like this is one of the few games where you actually can see like physically the difference between different bow styles, because historically speaking, there is a very big difference between different styles of bow. And like you're capable, like there's one, if you want to shoot far, that's a great bow, but it's not going to shoot fast. Then you have like your short bow that's going to shoot fast, but it's not going to be as damaging because you're just throwing arrows out. I don't know, like I really enjoyed that aspect of it.
I like that the dinosaurs have weak spots, and you have to find out what they are and how to fight the dinosaurs. The enemies are puzzles in themselves.
Yeah,
it's probably the best thing about the game, in my opinion.
Well, that can take away from it is whenever you scan them, again with that magical scanner that just as soon as you do it, you can look and see all of their weak points in like the little compendium bestiary thing. But at the same time, like it doesn't.
It's not as easy as just hit the monster there. There's more element to it.
Yeah, you've got to figure out, like there was a lot of times where I was like, oh, this will be easy. The thing's out in the open. I don't have to take any armor off. And then I realized 9 times out of 10, the dinosaur is going to stand in such a way where his body is protecting that. Like it's not even a matter of can't get around to hitting that weak spot because he's literally putting it away from me, which I really liked. I really thought that, like, it wasn't just how do you hit them, it's look at how they behave is also part of the puzzle.
Yeah, which is really cool. The AI in the game is very good.
Yes.
For the monsters, the enemies and stuff. I actually thought it was fairly difficult too, what little part I played.
Oh, I had to bump up the difficulty.
It's not difficult, but at the same time, it's not.
Yeah, like I died a few times.
Yeah, it's not like you can just like run through everything, no problem.
Like
I would say for the average gamer.
At the end of the trial, when they get ambushed, I think I died there like 2 or 3 times.
Oh, really?
Up on the mountain. Yeah, interestingly enough. The first time I was just dumb. I was like, I'm going to run around and hack people with this spear, and there's like 20 guys with bows and arrows shooting at you. So I just get like pincushion. And I was like, okay, now I have to sneak around. Then I just like got killed. Then I was like, okay,
yeah, the game is not very melee focused.
No,
not at all. Like that drives me nuts. Like somebody comes up too close, I'm like, cool, I'll take him out with melee, and it like takes me like 8 swings of the spear. It's like I could literally just run and just toss 2 arrows at him and do more damage than this stupid spear does.
Yeah.
Like,
wow, that's kind of
I haven't touched the spear upgrade path at all.
I did just because I did like everything else and I had extra skill points.
It's got level 50.
No, actually,
I feel like I've killed 2 things with the spear.
I killed lots of stuff by ambushing it, but
I love ambushing, like setting it up so that way they aren't going to see you there and just the silent strike.
Yeah, that's the build I was doing, like the sneaky, instead of just like the straight up bow fighting or the upgrades and stuff.
Yeah. See, I always just ran around with the far shooting one with the arrow was called, and like snipe people at the back so they would like walk in that direction, and there would always be like one guy who would come towards me and I'd just silent strike him and then continue doing it. Eventually whittle it down enough so I can just run in there and
the robot dinosaurs have invaded you.
Yeah.
They've taken over your voice, Tetsuo. You're fine now, but for a second there you went robo again. But no. Yeah, it happens. But no, I think it definitely deserves a lot of the praise it got. I see why it's a really good game. Like I said, I think it's going to win Game of the Year.
Yeah,
just because it was so well
received. How much
received.
salt though if it wins over Zelda?
I won't have any salt. I'll be like, okay, I understand. But I think one of those two will win.
I think objectively, Zelda is probably better without having ever played the new Zelda.
I don't know if that's true. Because Zelda just has a lot, like...
It's 2 different styles of games. Like,
Yeah,
for them to both be open world games, they're very different.
But Zelda just has a huge, like, fandom and, backstory. Or, I mean, a lot of stuff to pull on. from.
There's a lot of brand loyalty to it. So
Right.
Yeah. And
Which
this
is
is
Nintendo in a nutshell.
and this is a huge new PS4 like IP for Sony.
Yeah.
So
Who even made it? I actually don't.
Guerrilla
recall.
Games. So we'll get
Killzone.
yeah. So we'll be getting more of these. I'm sure there'll probably be like at least 2 more of these things.
Yeah, the DLC just came out.
Yep, the Frozen
apparently
Wastes.
It's good, but it's like more of the same.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what
which
I've heard.
most people are probably fine with.
Yeah, it's more world building.
Oh,
You get a few
actually,
new
the biggest thing I hated about the game was resource management, or like my carrying stuff in my pack. That's the thing that's
Oh.
driving me the most crazy. Is like
Yeah.
just let me carry all the stuff because I don't know what I'm supposed to get rid of. Because you're just like all of
Well, you
this
can
might
look at
be
it.
able to be traded.
No, yeah. If you look at the items, it actually tells you what it's used
Yeah,
for,
but-
and there's a bunch of items that say trade for or sell, and you can
Right.
just sell the trade for stuff.
Except sometimes you'll find an item that's like, I also want one of these and your normal credits to buy this. Like
Yeah.
you need this special heart and enough shards to buy this item.
But it's only like maybe an hour into the game, and every single vendor will have those items. Like there's not really much variance between any of the vendors. So the moment you get like the expanded thing,
Right,
you
but-
can look at it.
I mean, yeah, I'm at the point where I've got all the purple stuff unlocked, which I assume is the top tier, but the game
Yeah.
doesn't tell you that. So the game doesn't actually tell you if you need to hoard that or not.
That's true. Well, and I guess the other thing is early on, like the first couple, like once or twice, I hit the cap in my inventory, crafting to grow my inventory space, and then I kind of prioritize that over the story. So that may also be a difference in that
Yeah.
regard for me because it was very early when I like.
I've
maxed
only
out my
upgraded it
inventory
once or
space.
twice.
Yeah. It helps in that regard. I will say one of the things I enjoyed, but I also know that people probably don't, is the fact that to fast travel, you have to have a consumable.
Oh, yeah, F that. I bought the unlimited one as soon as I found it.
Yeah, I did too, but like, I don't know. For me, I kind of liked the idea of you aren't able to just kind of jar the
Nah.
story of suddenly I'm over here.
I am much in the camp of gameplay beating out flavor in that instance.
I like riding the dinosaurs everywhere.
Yeah, I also
I didn't
bought
fast
the
travel.
instant or call mount skill is pretty early in the game,
Yeah.
so I didn't have to keep capturing them.
So because the way I approached the game was like everything in an area before I moved on. So that may have also been it about fast travels. I didn't really need to go back as much.
Yeah, no, I've
Yeah.
only been
So-
like following the story, and like it sometimes it'll have you go like 3,000 steps to the next area or the next part of the main quest
Right.
or whatever.
Yep, but yeah, it's a good game. It
First-
deserves all its praise.
Yeah,
and
fun.
again, it's the most Tetsuo game I've ever
Time to
seen.
fight a stormbird.
I've only seen it. I have not fought it.
It's a fun fight. It's bring lots of ammo and lots of stuff to make more ammo. I went through so many of the fire arrows on that thing.
Yeah, I'm always out of blaze because I love using the trip explosive trip caster or whatever.
Yeah. Do you only? Yeah, because there's the explosive and the
Yeah,
water.
no, like the one that does the most damage is the one I use like all the time.
Yeah, it just does pure damage, whereas the other
Yep.
one is fire typed. Yeah.
Yeah, but you still need blaze. So
Right, for both of them, yeah.
I use the electric one a lot. But
I
also
use
just
the
I did it and I'd
electric
run up
ball.
and just hit stuff. I was like, I want to make melee work.
stop trying to make melee work. It'll never happen.
It's like I feel it's like every game now. I don't want to shoot stuff. I want to hit it with my stick. Step forward so I can swing at
Well-
you with my sword.
Final Fantasy has got swords.
I know. That's why. So when we get done recording, my thing will be done, and I will get on there and make the edgiest little Noctis wannabe guy that I can make. That's neither here nor there. Let's get on to my topic then. In the spirit of that, I'm going to talk about D&D because we got our first quote splat book. I guess that's what they're calling it, wasn't it?
Like,
the first like
years later.
official splat book. It's not like really, but
Yeah, usually the term splat book comes from like being focused on a thing, and this is not quite focused. So I don't know if splat book is technically accurate, but yeah,
it might
it's
be a
basically
different term
splat
I
book.
heard. But yeah, it's Xanathar's guide to everything. If you haven't been paying attention to
Character
Dungeons & Dragons.
options.
Yep, character options out the wazoo. So yeah, this I believe released to some stores last Friday. I picked up my copy because I'm
Official release is the 21st.
Yep, because I'm running a D&D campaign right now. Doesn't really help with the character options because everybody's like level 8 right now, but still, the whole first chapter, and it's probably a good like half of the book, is character options. So the book has 31 subclasses. Some of those are borrowed from Unearthed Arcanas, and
the last chapter is spells, which is 4 characters. So it's like mostly just character options.
yeah. So we get a lot more options for your characters. Like every class gets an option, at least 2 in this book. So no
I
longer
think
do
Wizard only gets one.
Yeah, Wizard gets 1. They're the only one that gets
But
one.
I already have the most because they have one for every school of magic.
Exactly. Them and clerics have like the most. So so now Ranger even has stuff. It's not just like Beastmaster and the Colossal Slayer or whatever it is. And then they did the Unearthed Arcana where they kind of like hybrided them together a little bit almost.
Yeah. Most of these options came from the Unearthed Arcana. They existed there, and then they further refined them and put them in the game. So if you've been following Unearthed Arcana, you've probably seen all of these classes before.
Saw some of them. I was actually I remember following some of it and seeing some of them. What do you guys? How much of you guys have actually gotten a chance to look through and read it though?
I've read
pretty much everything.
I've read most of it. It's not a very long book. It's only like 200 pages.
Is there anything in there from what we saw when it was first being put out for testing to the final product that you see in the book that you were surprised on a change of?
No.
I didn't really pay attention to much to the production of it. I just knew it was coming, and I wanted it.
Yeah. Well, I've looked at all the Unearthed Arcana classes, but like I haven't like studied them in depth because I just haven't played with them.
Like all the options seem pretty cool and interesting to me for the most part, actually. Like I thought they did a pretty good job with the classes, like the subclasses in the book. Every class gets some cool like neat background details that you can use for your character. It's almost like a little mini 20 questions for each class, which is very neat. So like a warlock you might answer more questions about your patron or how you came to be a servant of their patron, or if you're a druid, like who your master is, who taught you your druidic magic and stuff. Go on, Mal.
I was gonna say each like when you get to a class's archetypes, they generally have something like heraldry for fighters and stuff. Mm-hmm. And then after all the archetypes, they have like, how'd you become a whatever your class is and stuff like that. So they've got quite a bit of like stuff for you to think about your character.
Yep, neat little backstory stuff to help you flesh out your PC. It's got some stuff for like druids where it'll go, here's where you can find some of these beasts that you want to wild shape into if you want to like look for them.
Or if you grew up here, you probably know all of these.
Yep. And it's got more eldritch evocations for warlocks.
Yeah, baby.
So they get a lot more stuff to work with and pick from.
Yeah.
It's got a really decent sized list of racial feats in the book. So I think they're all racial feats. I don't think there's one that's just
they're all racial.
So some are pretty neat. What's your favorite new subclass, Mel?
Hexblade.
Windmill
Slam. Hexblade.
Gish. Gishing it up as the warlock.
I can make the Gish or warlock now.
Is Hexblade a warlock option?
It's a patron, and you get a sentient blade.
Yeah. Your patron is basically like a weapon.
Most likely forged from the Raven Queen. And you get charisma to attack and damage.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
So it's packed to the blade, but better.
Well, and because this is your patron, so you can still choose whatever pact. And you when you choose the patron, you can choose any one-handed weapon to make your blade. You can, but yeah, if you choose Pact of the Blade, you can also like choose a two-handed weapon, so like a greatsword or something. It just seems pretty cool. You get a thrall from people you kill. You can curse people, like Hexblade's curse lets you do stuff with that. You only get so many a day, but at like level 10, you get one back per encounter. I think it was, or you can only use it per long. Or I might be confusing terms now. I looked through all this arc, or like I looked through all the subclasses. So yeah, now I'm questioning if that's the rule or not.
It's got Samurai for meta, which he didn't seem super happy about earlier.
I don't actually think Samurai is all that good.
Yeah, it's one of the weaker ones in my opinion.
Like barring the fact that like it's just flavor, and if you want to play like whatever flavor is there, I just think
plus it's on top of the fighter already, which is fine.
Yeah, I mean, like that's kind of like what it came down to. Is like if I played a samurai, you could arguably just play a barbarian who just goes into a battle stand.
Yeah, I've seen that mentioned plenty of times already.
You could play just. I mean, ultimately, it's really hard to argue that samurai is even worth the time on a mechanical standpoint as compared to I can't remember what they're called, but it's the one that has all the maneuvers you can perform as a fighter.
The Warlord
Battle
knockoff.
Champion.
Yeah.
No,
it's not champion. It's
the Battle Champion's the base
Battle Master or something like that.
Battle Master.
Yep. That I also felt like was probably just far better to utilize mechanically and then just flavor it up. I was surprised by the one change is that instead of gaining essentially resistance to like essentially all types of physical damage, slashing, blunt, piercing, you just got temp HP now.
Yeah.
Whenever you activated their ability, that can only be activated 3 times per.
I think that's the one that you get it back at 10th level, right?
Yeah, at 10th level, if you start the battle without any, then you get 1. I'm like,
right,
ooh,
that's
thank
what it was.
God. So for mechanically, it's just a disappointing one. Now, the one I did like a lot was Cavalier.
Cavalier, get that. That was ripped. All 4th edition.
Yeah, Cavalier.
I was gonna say ripped straight out of 4E.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cavalier looks so fun.
It's the ultimate fighter tank.
Dude, the idea of playing this guy who's just like, I've got you here, you're not going anywhere. Oh, you want to hit somebody else? I don't think so.
Yeah, it's straight up 4E fighter, which is my favorite class from 4E.
That looks so satisfying to play.
I think that it's also draws from the Knight from 3.5.
Yes, it does.
The Knight was generally like the lockdown build for.
Yeah.
The Knight had the same thing as everybody was. Everybody was always considered to be in a certain radius of him. It was to be considered to be difficult terrain. So you could not 5-step away from him, and which meant that you were going to provoke an attack of opportunity.
Yeah, you'd build a Knight with a reach weapon, and then there's some feats that basically just make all the attacks whenever they move.
Yep. Just give him combat reflexes, and then you're on.
Go for it.
Just set
Swing
for
away.
I actually played that build for the Knight, so
nice.
That's why Cavalier is like just such a fucking back to that. Oh, it just does. There's something just very fun about being this guy. It's like you can't go anywhere. You're facing me. We're doing this.
Oh yeah, I like playing more tanky characters generally in these games. My favorite new subclasses, it's like a tie. I really like Divine Soul Sorcerer just because mine are both like fluff, not completely like. Oh no, the first one's more fluff. Divine Soul Sorcerer is just really cool. I like that you kind of like have like god blood in you or like some divine creature or celestial or something. And the art was really cool for the Divine Sorcerer. And I also like the Way of the Sun Soul Monk because he just shoots sunbeams at people.
That's actually from the other, like the Forgotten Realms book.
I think that is freaking awesome.
I do quite like that class.
You're basically Goku.
Yeah.
You're just Goku.
You just shoot Kamehamehas at people all day. Your monk attack can be like a ranged blast. You get some other neat like utility stuff too. I just like it's really cool. I also really like Cavalier, like Meta said.
I think my favorite fluff is still Hexblade because I've loved the Raven Queen since 4E came out.
I was all about that Raven Queen.
I was sad that they didn't actually use the Raven Queen patron from the same Unearthed Arcana that Hexblade was in.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
The Unearthed Arcana that the Hexblade was in also had Raven Queen as your patron to choose from. You could even turn into a Raven.
Nevermore.
Yeah.
I do like the fact that they gave the grave domain to the cleric.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
that's
finally,
cool.
you can play
I,
Cleric of Hades if you'd like. Or we
I'm
just.
always a person that likes anything dealing with the dead and such forth.
Yeah, they get cool stuff, so they're not like the. I was like, oh, it's just gonna be like the Death Cleric. No, they get like stuff like False Life. They got some like cool like anti-life shell. They get some cool like ways they manipulate the dead, but feel different, like very different than the just like you're just the cleric but a necromancer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I got a question for you, Obs.
Yeah, what's up?
Have you been reading like the little notes from Xanathar?
Yes, they're hilarious.
They're not. Some of them are just kind of lame.
I think some of them are hilarious.
Yeah, some of them are funny, but some of them are like they were written by like a 14-year-old or something.
There's one that's the
yeah. So
about the
because
minions
Xanathar,
or whatever.
Xanthar's Guide to Everything. It's like Xanathar is a beholder that runs Waterdeep, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there are notes from him all over the book.
Yep.
Also, that's what I was seeing. I didn't actually know that.
Yeah, it's his little comments on stuff.
The minion one you're thinking about is around encounter building, I believe.
Yeah. Which gets us on to chapter 2, which is DM's Toolbox. Which this is also really good stuff, I think, too. I was pretty impressed.
I quite like revisiting downtime, mostly for magic item stuff.
Yep. Lots of rules on what to do in downtime. Like, if you have a job, how you do stuff for your job and make money. Like, if you want to, like, pit fight people, here's how you can make money pit fighting. Stuff, yeah, like Mal said, stuff with magical items, making them, finding them, selling them if you want to peddle magic items. It's got rules for that in there.
There are, like, complications of, like, you know, it's a fake or it's cursed or the person that sold it or sells it, you know, actually stole it and then gives you up. So the original owner comes looking for you.
Yeah, so you get little
Might
histories to your
involve a
magic
rival.
items. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's got like a table for building rivals for your character and like NPCs and stuff. Tips for building encounters. It's got random encounter tables finally, and they sort them by level and location and tell you how to like balance them. And it's got rules for like if it's a solo monster, you want it to be this CR level if you got this many people at this level, and so on and so forth. It's got some neat suggestions for like how to use tool proficiencies better in your campaign, like and not use the one skill. Yeah,
or
different abilities with different skills. Yeah.
Like neutralize a poison with an alchemist supply.
Yep.
At a DC 20.
It has little clarification stuff, so it's got like stuff for like falling damage, a few things like that. That some of the rules that were kind of vague that probably people asked Jeremy Crawford about a lot on Twitter, and he's like, let's just put these in here so people can.
That man is a
reference
saint.
them. Yeah, I don't know how he does what he does. One of my favorite things in the DM's Toolbox is the new magic items that aren't very powerful mechanically. They're just neat fluff stuff. Like my favorite is like the billowing cape that just as an action you make the cape billow you make the cape billow dramatically. That's what it says.
I need to add this into all.
Those are some of my favorite items. Like I love like the more mundane magic items.
You can get a helmet that makes your eyes glow red.
Dude, I need to add this into all my games.
Armor that just smolders and has smoke.
There's a reason prestidigitation is one of the best spells in the game.
Exactly. You get these little mundane effects.
Isn't there like a spice that instantly like?
Yes.
I think it copies the prestidigitation effect of like just tasting.
It's a little spice pouch.
Food. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got lots of cute little neat stuff in there that I love, and that now I'm just going to like hand out. My PCs are going to be angry with me.
Yes, common magic items. Armor of Gleaming. This armor never gets dirty.
Yep. There's an armor that you can take off as an action.
Just need to give that to Terry Tarrington.
Yeah, it just comes off. Just lots of cute little stuff in there. They really did a good job with this book. And then chapter 3 is just spells. It's got some new spells. It's got spells from like Elemental Evil and some from the Unearthed Arcana stuff. So just like a nice like condensed like print version that you can have with just more stuff. So it has like Sphere of Water and like Skyrot and stuff in it. So yeah, I'm pretty pleased with the book. I love that there's so many more character options now, and it was something that 5e was severely lacking for a game that's been out for like It's been like 2 years, hasn't it?
Yeah, longer than that, I think.
Yeah, like 2.5 years probably. It's needed more stuff for a while. So finally, we have more subclasses to choose from. They all seem like, for the most part, like fun to play. There's like stuff you can do. Some obviously aren't as more powerful as others, but like for the most part, I think they're like fairly balanced and look fun. Like I really want to try out the War Mage personally. So
2012 is when they announced it.
yeah, I think I play tested
And-
it at Gen Con 2013.
2014 is when it came out.
So it's been 3 years.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a long time. Whereas in 3.5 you have all the options you could ever want.
All the options.
Even 4th edition has like a butt ton of classes and stuff in it. So
but 3.5 was three. I think 3.5 just because of the instances and like what happened with the circumstances, like open source and what could be made for it.
yeah,
You're always gonna have just so many options.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, some people hated that.
yeah.
and
I
I
love it.
I
love
like
it.
the idea, but at the same time, I hated building characters for 3.5.
Yeah, that could be a bitch.
yeah, I even like Matt Mercer's classes that he made up. I think they're all cool.
Oh yeah, like the Star Child and stuff.
The Blood Hunter and
Oh yeah, classes.
yeah. So yeah, and he has like some subclasses and stuff too, but
In his campaign guide.
yep. So just cool stuff. More class stuff. That's what we really needed in 5e. That was like one of my like big complaints about the game. I was like, there's not like I understand in like the core set that there's not a lot of stuff, but holy moly, it's been a while. Like before this, the book that had the most other options in it was Sword Coast Adventure Guide. And it was mostly
Yeah.
backgrounds. So
Most of the actual, I think, probably all of the character stuff made it into this book. I think.
yeah. So I mean, it's just great to have like a little compendium, and it's like it's probably like a book you need to have access to if you're going to run D&D, and your players will probably be thankful for it just because there's so much to choose from now. Like, other than like cleric or wizard, like every class has at least 3 options to pick from now. So cleric and wizard have like a butt ton. And warlock might be like the second biggest now, or the third biggest.
Yeah,
after them.
they
got a
actually
lot,
got more invocations, which is that what they're called?
Yeah.
Like I couldn't remember if it was something. If I'm just remembering 3.5.
Now they have like 5 or 6 patrons and all these invocations to choose from and stuff.
Yeah, boy.
So it's great. If you love D&D 5e, it's something you have to read.
Right.
It's something
Pretty
you want to
much.
get a hold of. If you want to like not go, oh, I'm running out of stuff to play. I played a bunch of 5e. I'm sure people in Adventures League are gonna are so happy to have this, especially when they start their new like campaign season or whatever.
Yeah.
So, all right, it's been episode 33, Podcast 5 Rings, your source of enlightenment, the realm of video games, tabletop, anime, film, and tech. Each episode, Podcast 5 Rings, releases Monday mornings on iTunes and SoundCloud, now topic by topic, day by day on YouTube, with the full video releasing on Friday. Catch us out. I can't. It's been an hour and a half, people.
Fail.
This is what you get from me, my bum sword. Check us out on social media. Twitter.com/podcast5r. Facebook.com/P5R podcast. And Meta and his fiance are going to be streaming some more L5R this weekend, is what I believe Meta said.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna try for it as well.
So be sure to check that out. They're going to be streaming. I don't know what she'll be like during the holiday season.
We'll probably be streaming even during then. It just might be not
on Thursday.
obviously days. Yeah, like not on Thursday.
Do you guys
or,
have
like-
Black Friday off, or do you have to work?
No, we got that Friday off. So
What about you, Tets?
I have
We all
that
know
day off.
Mal's like soaking it up over here. Does Ted?
I don't. Yeah, I think we usually do, don't we?
No, we
Or,
don't.
No, we don't.
It's
but I
just
think
it's
everybody takes it off at our place.
yeah,
so
it's
technically
pre-approved
does.
time off, or it's like pre-approved. You can take time off without asking, basically.
Yeah. So.
But you still have to use PTO. We only get federal holidays off.
Wah, wah. But yeah. All right. So check us out in 2 weeks. That's when we'll be back. Enjoy your Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy time with your family and all that stuff. Eat some good food. Nobble on a turkey leg for me. Until then, we'll see you later.
Later, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.